Turnitin's doing all the work when you're out parking, that'd be right.
Well, it just sounded more exciting than the truth, so I just went with that version.
You have two hard papers to follow now?
Yeah, well, actually, I was going to start by saying that mine is only 10 minutes long, because the information I got was 10 minutes of presentation and 10 minutes of questions.
You're a researcher,
But,
you always get more.
so I felt bad about I think you could have done another 10 minutes, so I feel really bad about that bit.
We'll answer the questions. No
Yeah, I will have them all set up here with my friendly fire. So, my topic is teacher versus Turnitin, grading and feedback online. And I'm from the Institute of Technology in Carlow. And I have some of my colleagues here with me who have been working in similar projects. And I'm working with Annette Holden, we're digital champions. And the thing we have in common is we're using Turnitin to grade, but Annette is looking at it, comparing it to using Blackboard, and I'm comparing it to using the paper version, which I've been using for years. And why I got involved in it first is because of another colleague who's here, which is Damien Raftery. Damien is our online and digital expert in the Teaching and Learning Centre. So about a few years ago, so it takes me a while to act on these cues that Damien's giving me, but I met Damien one March and I was going through the college and I was carrying 100 scripts with me, and Damien said, I thought you were going to Germany to teach this week. And I said, yeah, just going to the airport now. And he said, you're not actually going there with those, are you? And I said, yeah, I'm bringing I'm for a teacher, I'm bringing all my scripts with me, and I'm going to be there, grading all these essays. And he said, well, what do you act like? And he said, why don't you do it online, with Turnitin? And I went, yes. And I poor Damien, God love him, he's trying all the time with us, but I'm quite an analog person myself. So eventually I got on the plane, I went to Frankfurt, so then the 100 scripts came to Frankfurt with me. Then we went to Bremen, me and the 100 scripts. Then we went to Hamburg at one stage, 100 scripts, and we went to Wilhelmshaven on the coast, and myself and the scripts, we stayed in a nice hotel with some nice meals. And then I spent a lot of time in the room grading them. And when I think back to it, it was a kind of ridiculous thing to be carrying that in my baggage. And I spent all my years in college carrying books around in cars, going places, and nothing ever been done. But I did grade them, but I knew that it was kind of a risky business. What if the plane goes down? Never mind me and my children, all these scripts go with them. So when Damien said, Ireland, did you ever do anything about the grading? Because I teach effective writing and research, really academic writing is I'm a media lecturer for starters, and then I've been drawn into this teaching academic writing, which I love. I do walk around with an awful lot of essays, and I decided this year to do the digital champions with Annette, both of us, and that, when there's nothing better than having a project to make you do something. I definitely need that. And so that's how it all started out. So I have been using Turnitin for traditional uses, which is the, catching people out thing, which I don't really like, the idea of catching people out, but definitely I did notice it did help students understand. One of those chief tenets of academic writing is you can't steal stuff. So it is very good that way. So I have enjoyed using from that. So I've been using it for about 3 years that way, and then using to connect students to. I like that. The better is the second version is trying to help them connect to academic mores, honesty, and the crediting of sources. So my students would be first year undergraduates learning how to do academic writing, like a foundation course to get them into it. So I have about 30 media students, no problem to them, they love writing. Then I have about 75, generally 75 sports students. They're here to do a degree in sports and exercise. They have no idea what I'm talking about. They don't know why. Irene, what are you talking about? I got it in Google all my life. Why would I bother starting something else now? So I could actually teach my course over a weekend, but in order for it all to download and to seep through everybody's brain, it has to be taught over 8 months, if that makes sense. And the culmination of that is an essay, which is 20%. Mind-blowing for the sports students. So, anyway, then we go. This one I'm going to do today is a basic view of the system, my experience and the student experience. The question is it any use? You can all leave after this sentence. It's actually brilliant. Anybody can leave now if they want to. Turn it in. If you've got essays, thank you, Damien. It's really transformed my life. I'm now going to start selling it like Tupperware to everybody, okay? So, now the interface isn't low. I'm a media person. I like more pink and things going on, but it's not really happening. So basically, when you get, this is Mark, my student. Now Mark is an 80% student in reality, but he's only ever getting 60% because Mark doesn't let me tell him, or I actually know everything, Irene. He is a very good complex thinker. He just doesn't want to come to class and learn about academic writing. So he can actually get 60 without any problem, but he can't get what he is, which is probably 80, without learning the protocols, as we know, of academic writing. So when we open Mark's work here, I'm just clicking here on all the little things and putting it, dragging it over all the time to the space where I feel that he's, I can give feedback. So I created all these little comments myself, and I would consider myself I'm an analog person who works in digital world. Because I'm a media person, I've learned to use cameras and radio and all that sort of thing. I do it because it does what I want it to do, but I still like bits of paper and I like all that kind of thing. So I've made all these myself, all these notes. Now, what I did try to do is make positive notes. Just don't always be saying everything's rubbish. So happiness writes white. When you write something good, it doesn't have the same impact, but still, writing lots of nice stuff. But one of the things I did, which did dawn on me, and I talked to Damien about it, is when you correct essays, you tend to be saying the same thing over and over again. It is true. And before, I had a little rubric where I used to tick a piece of paper and I'd give it to them, but it never felt bespoke. And then the student could really see, she's just ticking a load of boxes. That's so instrumental. It's really not me. This feels more bespoke. It's written in my kind of vernacular. I drag them over, the student hovers, and they can actually see what the comment is. Now, I can write little bespoke comments, that's a little bespoke comment for each student, or I can write introduction needs works, the same problem, you haven't signposted, you haven't told us what's happening, you're not referencing problem. I have different degrees of, I detect plagiarism here, would you please have a look at your original report? Then I've one like, this is a massive problem, you are in big trouble, this could end up, next year with the registrar. So I can write different levels of things here. So there's a bespoke comment. So I've written, a lot of people were following the protocols but no complexity. So they couldn't show that, that they had found some research and they didn't know how to comment and make meaning for the reader of that research. So this is kind of an idea written for Mark. And then you can write general comments at the end. So very mixed bag, Mark, great complexity in your thought and ideas. But you need to brush up in the academic style, silly referencing mistakes, tendency to have the ideas of one author per paragraph. He came to that class. He came to the class where, you need to have one idea in each paragraph, but then you go to the next paragraph and just have one author, one idea. So, and next time a few different references to back up one particular idea. Lovely to read, see the rubric for all over assessment. Now, this is a brilliant thing, the voice comment, but I didn't quite get it right because sometimes when I was grading, I might have my headset to do the comments, so I decided I'd either do the comments for everybody or nobody, but I think they're a fabulous idea because it sort of mimics what's happening in the class. It mimics that kind of thing of them being able to hear you speaking in a naturalistic way to them. Look, hey Mark, now come on, you're at it again. You need to come to class because you're getting parts of it right. You're a great thinker. I like the way you think, but you're not moulding that into the sort of thing that shows that you are respecting academic mores and protocols. It's very hard to write all that down. But it only takes a minute to record it. I need to work on that because I did a test with one of the students and we couldn't get it right. So that's something I need to build on next year. But I'm so afraid of instrumentalism myself. I'm not that type of person. I don't want people to be tick boxed. So I feel that having the general voice comments is a fantastic way of communicating with those students, which is your own personality. My experience of using this Turnitin, I just gave you a flavour of what's going on there, is I thought it was fantastic. I mean, loads of my students don't come to class. I know that's a revelation, but it's quite disheartening when you grade 100 essays and 6 months later still 20 of them sitting in your room, and you think there represents a lot of work on my behalf. It's something that the students could really connect with if they wanted, but some people don't come to class. Fine, but at least in this way I'm dreaming in bed at night that maybe they are somewhere out there looking at it, and learning something from it. I could be wrong. So this thing is not going around to Bremen. The holidays are over, no nice lunches, and no travelling the world. So I think this thing is your home, and you really think, you say to the students, it's online now, maybe they will just go and look at your comments and have a look and see their grade, and you can't help when seeing those comments on your page. I don't know, I need to do qualitative work on this. I've only done a survey to say to students, well, you know, when you're in there, would you be having a look, or what would you be doing, or would you never bother? Because one of the shortcomings of doing a survey is your best students answer a survey. So I need to go in and tackle some, best is wrong, your more compliant students would, you know, answer a survey. So I need to get in there and meet some people who don't answer a survey. So after I'd given all this feedback and I was up there and Turnitin, I was dying to know what the story was. So 89 people have stuck with this course and 44 of them answered the survey. But I was constantly pleased with the survey. I even sent them an email about 2 weeks ago saying, crucial exam information, and when they opened it said, no, actually just do the survey. I got about 15 responses out of that, I think. Yeah, so try that one, everybody. So more females responded, and I do have more, because of these sports guys, I have a lot more male students, and more media people responded because they're very compliant and they see an awful lot of me, I suppose, like that. And more insight. One student I could tell he was the 4 or she was the 4.55 person, whatever. There's a couple of anyway who were being honest and a bit more negative. So this is the results of the survey. So did you read the comments left after all the, you know, who are you and male, female, question 5 was, did you read the comments left by the lecturers? So I just sound so pious. I read them all carefully. You know, I wrote them all carefully. So 70, nearly 65%, which is really great. You know, I thought, God, now this is buoying me up to do, you know, I really will take a... Oh, the great thing is, what I've done for this year, I can import them into other projects next year, so I don't have to keep making those little quick marks. That was good. Now, how satisfying was it to get feedback through Turnitin? 70% said the feedback was good, they liked it. That's nearly 4.55 person, no, I didn't like, but we need to hear that too. Okay, it's fine, 25%, and I'm not bothered about feedback, nobody said that. So that's really making me think this is definitely working. On this occasion, how helpful were the lecturers' comments that you got? They were helpful, I learned from them, that was really great feedback. Even they're okay, I'm fine with that. The fact that they open them, I think, is a massive boon for me, as far as I'm concerned. I didn't get much from the comments, and one person, there's me 4.55, liking him or her, whoever that was, good. At the moment, which feedback platform are you more inclined to engage with? Now, I didn't write a great question here, because I've given them 2 options on Turnitin and 2 options about me. So, I like to go Turnitin, I'm imagining, okay, I like my own time, a bit leading, but anyway, 44% that. Nobody admitted to not going to class, so obviously there's a gaping hole there, because there's definitely, you know, a lot of empty seats. Lecture feedback is better. I like the personal aspect, or I like to answer questions. So you can see there's about 50% people still like to talk to the lecturer. Now, in the IT system, we're very close to our students. We're so massively available, aren't we? We're just... we take all sorts of emails and time to meet people, and I'd say it isn't the same in other institutes of forms of higher education, but so they do like to talk to us and get close to us. In the future, which would you prefer to get, grades and feedback via Turnitin or via the lecturer in face-to-face? So I was surprised, a lot of them picked the just solo Turnitin. I thought that was quite a lot. Talking to the teacher, and I thought there would be a lot more would like both, but I thought that was interesting. Some people, they don't want you yakking on, Irene, this, that and the other. Also takes an awful lot of class time to meet students. You know, if you say this class, I'm going to meet you all individually, and if 15 of you stay, and then you've 14 bored people and you're taking 3 minutes to talk to somebody. And so I think there are students still who really would, I got the feedback, Irene, but would you say some more words to me? And that's fine, I've no problem with that. So this made me think, yeah, it is a very, very viable option. And I don't know if any of you have ever graded a lot of essays, but you would find somebody, they gave in the essay in March, and like 2 months later, Irene, have you my essay with you? Oh yeah, I actually walk around with them all the time. Yeah. And then I have said things like that to students, and then afterwards I think, it's not really good to be sarcastic and snipey with people. I would feel a bit bad, but I'd be dying to say, Jesus, on paper in the walls at home with them, they're so interesting, you know. And he's loving me. And so it isn't good to be sarcastic with students, but at the same time, they do dream that you're walking around with their work, you know, just waiting for the day that they might turn up. So, did it work out? I want to say thank you, Damien Raftery, for spending 4 years mentioning Turnitin grading online and eventually getting me to the trough. And I spoke to somebody else, they agreed it isn't as fast as it seemed because Turnitin sent me a survey. They just assumed that I was saving time, but it really was still taking the same amount of time as you would do paper grading, actually slower, because when you grade a lot of papers, you start to go faster and faster and faster, you know, but I was still going, drop, drop. And now I'm going to get into singing a little song to them at the end and writing a bit here. So I'd say, I'm only talking about myself, but to myself and my colleague Annette, we've both been trying to evangelise a bit, and then we can see what Damien's up against. It's really hard to say. There is of us in the office. I said, would you ever think about doing, you know, I'm selling the Tupperware now. Would you ever think about doing the grading online to turn it? Yeah. And then nobody ever has any time to do it. So it's very hard to evangelise about these things with your colleagues, even though, I mean, the stuff is all there. There's a record. You can go back. The students, you know, instead of bits of paper in the back of your car and in your office somewhere and all that kind of thing. So, and it is, you're not saving any time because, you know, students really still want to talk to teachers. I mean, I don't think teachers will ever go out of fashion, but in terms of learning, I'm 100% behind it. The end.